How's it going, guys? Welcome back. I hope you guys are excited for this one. I know you're probably not, because boys, I got some bad news. YORICK Jungle is being nerfed. Now, I wanted to take some time to go around this nerf specifically, but there's a lot of other things in context that I want to have a little chat about. I'd actually already recorded this once, but I changed my mind. I want to redo it. So I hope you guys like this one. If you do, please hit that like button, hit that sub button, and let's just get started, boys. You can see right here, the E monster damage nerf is basically this. So what they're doing is they're reducing the maximum damage YORICK E can do against jungle monsters from 300 to 70 to 210, scaling on the rank of the ability. Now, you can see if I go back and I show you this, on the right here, you're going to see what the current maximum damage deal. So you can see most of the time you're going to hit red buff for 264 health. Now on PBE, you're hitting for 61. And say, for example, for the small Krugs, you're hitting it for 101 versus on PBE where you're hitting it for 72. Now, this is pretty much probably the biggest nerf you could give YORICK Jungle because it's basically shutting his clear down. Now, if you look at this nerf, I don't want you to take this nerf as context of Riot saying YORICK Jungle's clear is too quick, because in reality, I don't think they're trying to say his clear is too quick. I think what they're trying to say is that they don't know what to do about him, so we're just going to nerf his jungle clear. In reality, when you have a champion like YORICK, when you have any champion in the jungle, if you want to nerf him, the biggest thing you can do is nerf their jungle clear, because it's universal over every game. It doesn't matter what you do. Every game you will have a jungle clear. It's like every game you will have an early game. You won't necessarily have a late game, but you're always guaranteed an early game. So what this is doing is it's nerfing his guaranteed early game, and it's nerfing his jungle clear. Now, I've actually done some math on it. I've actually practiced the clears out, and you're going to watch those clears as I showcase them now. It's around about a 10-second loss. So it's actually 10 to 12 seconds of your clear speed you're going to lose each clear. So this is not an insignificant change. Now, the bigger problem with this actually is that Phreak's actually come out and said there's a second YORICK nerf coming next patch as well. So expect something for season 25 or season 15, whatever you call it, and patch number 7. Now, the real reason I say this is a problem is because there's actually no more jungle limiters in place for YORICK right now. The only one remaining is ghouls taking reduced damage from camps. So if they're going to keep this schedule going, what they're doing right now, and they're taking whatever he has that already has jungle modifiers, and they're nerfing it, the next thing they're going to nerf is his ghoul taking damage from camps, which is a little sad because there's a lot of mechanics to YORICK that I think are really unique, and no other champion has them, and that's one of them. I would probably fully expect, if they do want to nerf that, in my opinion, they should actually nerf Zyra as well, because Zyra's clear is 242 for a bloody 6 camp clear. She clears the jungle ridiculously quick. So it should be more of a pets modifier rather than a jungle YORICK modifier. But we'll leave with that one at that. So what we're going to do is let's go through the jungle clears a little bit, and let's just showcase what it looks like. So you can see this is current, that's live server. This is the PBE server. So you're going to start at the Wolves. Wolves start, the very first camp is unchanged. There's no difference on it. You're going to see we're just going to take the Wolves as normal. It doesn't really take into effect until you skill your E. And then you're going to notice instead of doing 264 damage to the Gromp, we're going to instead do 61 damage. Now, YORICK's base AD, you can't see it, but it's around about 72 right now. So it's between 3 to 4 attacks is what you actually have to do extra on Gromp. The real reason that this actually slows it down is because if you look at the way that the top one's clearing, you'll notice that when my E is available, I can't actually cast it on blue yet because I haven't dragged it out into the bush. So that's 2 seconds worth of time loss that I've had to invest into the Gromp to get some extra attacks off. And that actually directly translates because that's 2 seconds I've lost here. And now I have to overstay on the Gromp again. And the reason for that is because I didn't do an extra 200 damage to it, I have to attack it 4 extra times to get it low so that my ghouls come down. So you can see on the live servers, I've already hit the Raptors, whereas now I've only just got to them. My ghouls are just jumping by the time I'm already running to the red buff. So a little slow. This is a full clear, I should point out. So we're going to go straight for the red. E the red, which is going to bring all the ghouls down. Notice I've kept 4 ghouls the entire time as well. This isn't a mechanically advanced clear, but I do want to point out, I've spent a lot of time practicing this jungle clear. Like, this is as you're going to get at an elite level, whereas compare this to someone that's just trying jungle YORICK out, the small mistakes they'll make You can see right there 308 full clear on the current patch versus 316 on 317 on the live server. So if you're new to Jungle YORICK and you're just trying that out for the first time, you're going to make mistakes. You're probably going to be around about 325. And that's a really long time for a full clear that's quote unquote optimized by letting ghouls finish camps. It's kind of insane. Now, this version you're going to see is actually the Invade clear. Now, this clear is probably the one that suffered the least out of all the jungle clears. The reason for that is because we actually have minimal time investing into the camps. Obviously, we don't invest time into the red. We don't invest time into the crux. We just do the 4 camps, either red, and then run to their jungle. So you can see in terms of the start, it's identical. The clear you just saw, this is literally the exact same. All that's different is that we're going to run straight to Raptors and then run straight to their blue once we've done our thing at the Raptor camp. But I do want to point out, look at the cross mid difference. So you can see on the bottom left, that's the live server. You can see the cross mid time is around about 226. Now that's fully optimized. Absolutely perfect. Cross mid time is 231 on PBE. So that's 6 seconds already that you've lost. So we're going to go straight for the big Raptor. It's actually significantly faster. Just go for the big Raptor here. And then we're going to organize for one of the little Raptors to go low, and then we're going to queue it, and then E the red. You can see we've already E'd the red on live server. There's the E on PBE. And live server, I always go by blue being visible as the metric. So you can see 254 blue visible versus 259 blue visible. Or 259 3 minutes. So you can see a 6 second time loss. It's quite significant. And it depends on how many ghouls you throw based off when red dies. I actually threw more ghouls in the PBE clear. So you can see we actually cleared the red at 312 versus 317 on the PBE server. But that's because I threw extra ghouls. If I threw less ghouls to match the live server, it would have been significantly longer than that. So a little bit slower, but still not overly bad. If you want to hear bad, that's where this one comes in. So the Raptor clear is god awful. I'm only showcasing this to show you the difference between the live and PBE. You will not be doing this clear ever again. The Raptor clear is just too slow. The way you're going to do this now instead on PBE or when it hits live is you're going to start at the red. You're going to go red, Krugs, Raptors, Wolves, Blue, Gromp, and you should be able to do that by around about 325, 322. This is uncategorically just slow as hell. It's just crazy slow. Now you're going to see the difference between the two of I actually smited the Raptor on the big one on the live server versus didn't smite the big one on the PBE server. That's because it's actually faster to not smite the Raptor on the PBE server. So once these nerfs go through, we actually have to save smite to use either at the Krugs or on the red. So one of the two. The actual metric I want you to look at is the cross mid time. So you can see right now we cross mid on the live server at 228 versus the cross mid. Probably overstayed a little bit on that one. I don't think it's 100% fair there, but you can see we cross mid at 239. Probably can get it down to 236. So we lost about 8 seconds there alone in the first half of our jungle clear. So we get to the wolf camp. It's just around that E. It's that E damage that is just so small and insignificant right now. And that's not even an optimized clear. I've messed up so many times on that clear that I can just see looking at the little window. So what a pain that is. See, we've finished the blue, not even halfway through the blue. Such a big difference with just one change. And it's because it adds up. Every camp, you're losing basically 3 autos. 3 autos at 0.6, 0.7 attack speed is absolutely a long time added up together. So 317 full clear on live server. And then if you're on PBE, 327 to 328. So a little bit of a pain in the ass. I'm not going to lie. I'm not too happy and not too thrilled by that. Now, in terms of what we can have a little chat about, I'm not hopeful that these will get reverted. I'm trying as much as I can to see what if I could advocate on behalf of everybody here that this is way too hard of a nerf. This cuts off your clear speed to the point where you're literally unable to compete with other junglers. In low elo brackets, I don't think this is a big issue. I think you can still play jungle YORICK. You're going to clear slow, but chances are you are already clearing pretty slow. You're just going to clear slower. You're not going to get punished for farming your jungle for too long in low elo, and you're not going to get invaded usually, but if you're anywhere below platinum. So I think if you're below plat, this change is probably not going to be significant. Jungle YORICK will still be absolutely fine for you. If you're between plat and diamond, I think it will matter a little bit because you're not going to be able to impact the map as much because things are going to be a lot slower. If you're above diamond, don't even waste your time. I literally wouldn't waste your time touching this pick until this change gets reverted or something gets compensated, because you're going to spend so much time trying to clear the jungle that you're just not going to be able to do anything. The enemy jungle is going to run circles around you. I forgot to mention, if you start E on any camp, you've screwed your entire jungle clear. And if you're forced to level E, level 1, let's say you're doing a team fight, there's a 5v5 fight, and you hit that nice 5-man E, that's great for the fight. You've just fucked your clear entirely because it does no damage against the jungle monsters now. If you get invaded and you lose access to your ghouls, if you're forced to 1v1 the camp, like let's say you're taking Gromp at level 2 or level 3, you've lost all your ghouls because you got invaded and you have to reset, go straight for your red. You're now taking that red. You would normally cast E 3 times on your red buff if you're taking it alone at level 1. Now you're not going to cast it 3 times. You can cast it like 4 or 5 times because you're losing 200 damage per cast. So it's kind of crazy how much of a nerf this is. And in Phreak's rundown, he actually goes on to say, like, it's not that big of a nerf, probably a 2% win rate loss. Yeah, he might be right at the end of the day. But the sad thing is, I feel like a lot of the changes that they're doing right now aren't actually catered to Yorick mains. The change they're doing, this blanket nerf, is because they don't know what to do with him. They want to do something that has minimal effort involved, and nerfing his jungle clear is guaranteed to lower his win rate. Unfortunately, I think this is going to hit a high-low skew more than it's going to hit a low-low. And anyone that's above platinum, game's going to be harder, significantly harder. Even games in low-low, your agency early is just not going to be there. So, look, all in all, what comes next, I don't know. I feel like this nerf isn't going to be enough. They're going to nerf him again. In terms of a rework, look, I thought there was a rework pending, not a rework, more of a mid-scope. What was being changed? No clue. But the fact that they're nerfing him back-to-back gives me kind of an indication that it's not going to be yet. But I would think that because Jungle Yorick's on the radar and because the pick rate was so high, there was so many people playing Jungle Yorick, that I actually think that maybe it was a good thing because he's probably going to get the attention that he needs. Riot probably realizes now after they've seen this that he is a popular champion if you put him in the right circumstances. People don't like playing Yorick top, but they like playing Yorick jungle, and that's the biggest positive out of this entire scenario. Now, I'm probably going to leave this video with homework for you guys. You see, there's been a lot of Twitch streamers that have been playing Yorick jungle. Now, Agarin's been playing it, Santorin's been playing it. There's a whole bunch of Yorick jungle that has been played in high-low brackets now. What I want you to do is I want you to go and I want you to watch all their vids, because there's a very interesting way that we can close out this video when we talk about solutions. Because if you watch their videos, you're going to see, especially Agarin's video, if you haven't already, I'm going to leave it in the description and below, because he basically goes on a massive 12-game winning streak. He has not lost on Jungle Yorick yet. He's a good jungler though, and those skills are directly transferable between champions. Even though Yorick is so different, it's still transferable. So he can take his Shyvana playstyle, put it on Yorick, and he's still a monster at League of Legends. Now, the interesting thing is, when you watch his video, he spends the entire time going, where did that ghoul come from? I don't understand where that ghoul come from. Wait, now I have 4 ghouls, where did they all come from? Because he doesn't even understand how he's playing. He doesn't understand how the champion works, but he's still running around with 4 ghouls despite not knowing how they summon. It took him 12 games to realize that the ghouls needed an E mark to summon. I'm not even joking. You can literally go watch it. It's mind-blowing. But Maiden is doing such a good job compensating for his newbiness at playing Yorick that she's just raising all these ghouls for him. He's at full power 100% of the time, because there's no skill flaw for this champion. Unfortunately, it's being raised considerably higher because the Maiden is doing all the work for you. And I think at the end of the day, when it comes to fixing Yorick top and fixing Yorick jungle, like I've said a million times, it just comes down to his ghoul accessibility. He gets too many ghouls 2 ways for free. Now, Phreak, if you're watching this video, first of all, thank you for watching. I know I know Yorick jungle is a bit of a threat right now, and I'd like to put one proposal for you. You see, I've always advocated for Yorick jungle's ult to not summon Mistwalkers when it's nearby enemy minion deaths or anything dying until level 11. Now, I understand that if you change that, if you nerf that, and if you enact that change, I think it will impact Yorick top. So I'd like to give a counter offer. What if instead we just change it so that Yorick's ult doesn't summon Mistwalkers from jungle monsters? What if we just remove it? It has to be a champion dying or a lane minion dying. And if you want to put a gate on it, make it only large monsters. That way Yorick Jungle isn't running around with a million ghouls. Instead, he actually has to use his Q to raise ghouls or land his E properly to raise a ghoul. I think that is a completely fair change. You know what? You could scrap this change entirely and do that. I guarantee you, Yorick top shouldn't be any impacted by it because he doesn't jungle. And Yorick Jungle, what's to lose? You're not gutting the player's clear speed. Instead, you're literally enacting a change that's positive to Yorick. And I guarantee you, his win rate will drop because new players won't know how to get ghouls. They've got to spend time actually learning how to get ghouls. So that's a massive pro. And number two, his pick rate is so minor that the amount of people that are impacted by this test is so small that I just don't see why you wouldn't do that over this. I can guarantee you, what your change is doing right now will nerf Yorick's win rate. I just think blanket nerf is number one, I think it's a bit disrespectful for Yorick mains personally. I think you could put a little bit more of an effort into actually addressing a problem rather than just doing something you know will nerf the champion. But more importantly, when you've got player feedback, you've got hundreds of Yorick mains that are saying ghoul accessibility is a problem. I think, honestly, just give it a shot. Postpone these nerfs just temporarily. Make it so Maiden doesn't summon ghouls from jungle monsters and only the big monsters and see how it goes. His pick rate isn't high enough that this is impacting the broad, large scope of the community. It's still a low pick rate. You have time to actually think about what to do here. And I think this is both a rushed choice and it is the wrong choice. So that's just my thoughts on it, boys. If you do, please put a comment below. Let me know what you think about that change. I think that's a great change. I'm going to hate it, but I think if you want to nerf it, do that instead of this. Because I would rather be able to play my champion than be invaded level 3 and not be able to even get into the game alone. So I hope this helps you guys. I'm still going to be around, still going to post videos. We'll have to see how the nerf hits. If it hits hard, we'll have to see what we do then. But I'm doing everything I can to make sure this nerf is targeted correctly and that Yorick Jungle is treated correctly. So thanks for watching, boys. I will catch you all in the next video. See you all later.